Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my Zamorak loot from day one of release and also talking about the boss, and we get a pretty big drop here. So if you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe for more videos like the video and let's get into it. So if you guys know, I've had some health issues going on, so I didn't start Zammy right on release, which I'm actually kind of thankful for. I waited a little bit. My friend had done about a kill or two, and I basically went about 6 or 7 hours in, and I went with him and we did some duo kills, and honestly Zamorak was really fun. I love figuring it out for myself, you know, not really knowing much about the boss. It just makes it a lot more fun. It feels like with Zamorak, I was worried that doing the elite dungeon over and over again would be kind of boring, but the thing is, with the enrage for Zamorak, it really feels nice because things start to change a little bit. They get harder, more health, more mobs start to come in the elite dungeon, which I think is a really cool touch because, you know, you really don't know what to expect every time your enrage goes up. You could be, you know, who knows, there could be more mini bosses, who knows what there could be at higher enrages when you go through the elite dungeon. So I thought that was really cool and it made each run feel more special. I wasn't really expecting much for loot because, of course, this is the release of the boss. There's tons of enrages. You can get up to, I forget what it is, 6,000, 60,000% enrage. I forget how much it is, but I mean, starting at 0% enrage, I felt like it was going to be like most bosses like Telos or Archglacier, where you really don't get much loot and you really don't have chance at much loot, but it was kind of the opposite. So from the elite dungeon itself, the drops are pretty decent. You can bring yourself some lucky charms and get some things. You can get the slivers of power and those types of things to get those upgrades. The loot isn't anything insane from, you know, just the normal mobs. You do get a good amount, but it's not like something crazy. So like if we look in my loot chest from the full day of runs, which was about 6 runs duo, always increasing in rage. I think we rank top 100 or so on the duo charts, at least last time I checked. It's probably changed now, but as you can see, 27 mil, not too bad. There are relics, kind of like the other elite dungeons, which is to be expected, and the loot is just, you know, your normal elite dungeon loot. It's nothing crazy. It's not like you're going to be making, you know, 20-30 mil every single run from normal drops, but the loot does add up. You have things like the alchemist keys, blood runes, wines of Zammy, some pretty decent loot there. So again, nothing crazy, but that's not really why you're doing this boss. The one thing I will say is you get so many tooth half and loop half keys from the elite dungeon. As you can see, I have like 100 of each half in this chest, so I thought that was kind of funny that those dropped so much. But yeah, moving on to the boss itself, Zammy was actually really fun. It was fun to figure out at the start, but it was really fun to do. I was expecting something that was just gonna kill me tons of times and be super difficult, like when I first started Raksha, but it was just the right amount of difficult every time, and it seemed to ramp up quite a bit as the enrage increased, which I can't even imagine doing Zamorak at, like, you know, 1,000% enrage. I have no idea what they add. I'm pretty sure they added a new phase at 100% based on what I've seen, which I haven't gotten to yet, so that is also really cool. But I really like the mystery of not knowing, you know, what is going to change with either the elite dungeon or with Zamorak, you know, when you go to, you know, increase your enrage. It really makes me feel like, ooh, if we get to 100 enrage, 200 enrage, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna have to deal with all kinds of new stuff, new mechanics? Of course, the health is gonna get bigger and so is the enrage, but that's gonna be pretty cool. Now, as for loot, when it comes to loot for Zamorak, the normal loot from looting the boss seemed to be around 2 to 3 mil. You would get things like onyxes, you would get things like serenic scales and things like that, which was pretty nice. So it seemed like basically a regular boss, 2 to 3 mil loot, but something thing I ended up getting during my second ever kill duo was a Vestments of Havoc robe top. I could not believe this when I got this. This is the new melee armor. Then we get the robe top, which is probably the most expensive piece. Again, this was the second kill that we had done. I believe this was 20% enraged, maybe it was even 10%, but I did end up getting this in a duo, which was absolutely insane. I had no clue what it was going to go for. Usually my luck on release is not that great for bosses. Like for Raksha, it took me like 1500 kills to get a solo greater ricochet, so I was really not expecting much, but we did get the Vestments of Havoc robe top, and when I put it in the GE, it sold for 1.75 bill, so over an 800 mil split for me and my friend, which was crazy. Super happy to get some release day luck. So yeah, we got a Vestments of Havoc robe top on release. And something else I want to mention is that the drops actually, as far as my friends and me, they don't seem insanely rare. Now, of course, it does take a long time. At the start, you have to do the elite dungeon to kill the boss. We're doing like 35 or probably about 40-minute runs or so. So it does take quite a bit to do the runs, but it seems like the loot, or the rare loot at least for us, wasn't too uncommon. My friend has done like 12 kills and he's gotten 3 drops. Of course, that's just what he does. He's super lucky, but I've seen a lot of people getting drops. Maybe it's just because everyone's doing the boss. I'm sure there's some people out there that are really dry, but it at least doesn't seem like the loot is extraordinarily rare. Now, I'm curious if you didn't know, once you get to a certain enrage, I think 250%, or maybe it's 25 kills, you can then basically skip the elite dungeon and just kill Zamorak the boss. So I'm curious if the drop rates are still the same if you're just farming Zamorak, or if you need to basically do the elite dungeon. If you do the elite dungeon, you get a better drop rate. I have no idea on that, but the drops do seem, like I said, kind of common, so I'm curious, once people start being able to just farm Zamorak over and over again, if these items are going to drop a lot in price. They're already dropping a good bit, but luckily I got it so early that we made almost a bill each on that in the split, which is probably the most I've made on any release day boss, so super happy with that. But all in all, my thoughts on Zamorak is it's just really fun. I think the best part of this boss is going and doing and not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing when enrage increases how much more difficult it's going to get, what new things are going to come out. I will say the elite dungeon itself with the mobs is a little bit crowded sometimes. It feels like, you know, a little bit like a maze if you don't know where you're going. Even when I've done it, you know, 5 or 6 times, it still feels a little, you know, I forget where to go. So it can be a little overwhelming just for the elite dungeon itself, but all in all, I'm super excited with this and having a ton of fun, and so happy to get that drop. I didn't know how much I was going to play with how I feel, but it's really fun just distracting myself and, you know, playing through Zamorak. So if you guys haven't tried it, I highly recommend you do, and if you need any help, my friend that I've been duoing with, Bibzuda7, he actually made a guide for day 1, so I'll link that below in case you guys, you know, want something to kind of help you out, try to get your first kills through the dungeons, stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not a super long one, but wanted to show off the drop and show off, you know, what loot I got on day 1. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.